The Trump administration's education department, under his hand-picked head, Betsy Devos, has gone into more changes and at least looking to change things with our education system, specifically college universities with Duke and North Carolina. The education department wrote in an August 29th letter to the Duke-UNC Consortium for Middle East Studies that the program disproportionately portrays the positive aspects of Islam. The agency requested that they amend the program by September 22nd or lose a grant that they've been receiving for almost a decade. This is from the Associated Press. So in that writing, the department wrote that the program places, quote, a considerable emphasis on the understanding of the positive natures of Islam, while there's an absolute absence of any similar focus on the positive aspects of Christianity, Judaism, or any other religion or belief system in the Middle East. So we talked about that September 22nd deadline. So they're supposed to send a revised schedule of activities and describe how each relates to foreign language and national security. Of course, the department continued to say.
And this is all basically, they would revoke grants that are given from the Department of Education under Title VI that specifically train students in foreign languages and international affairs to advance US national security and economic interests. And it's like $72 million a year to many different language programs that are oftentimes housed under these like Middle East studies departments. So you're basically saying your culture war, which I can't even believe that the Department of Education would actually commit that to paper. The positive aspects of Islam. This is education. No one's talking about positive or negative. You're just learning about religions. You're learning about parts of the world. In different parts of the world, they practice different religions. Like that already is absolute, like out of far right Christian nationalist propaganda, and that's in our Department of Education. But the point is that now you're saying, okay, you want to study and you want to like help out, let's say, peace building in Afghanistan, and you want to learn how to speak Arabic. Well, your funding might be revoked under this new whatever this is.
Ironically, this comes from a conservative administration that likes to talk. I mean, many folks in the conservative movement like to talk about how liberals are looking to undermine our educational system. They're looking to brainwash kids at colleges and universities. How many times have we heard that colleges and universities are the breeding ground for crazy libs to come out and have with crazy ideas and push them on to the rest of the world? When in reality, you're now trying to revoke some grants and funding because there's not enough Christianity-based positive nature being pushed through just these two universities, or are these only two in the country?
Right, it's like you learned about the Crusades. Funding revoked. Like, no, this is history. But that's the thing, again, back to the Trump administration, everything is partisan. Everything's part of the culture war. They don't like that, as Colbert said, facts have a liberal bias. And they know that when people learn about the world, when they learn about different religions, yeah, they generally have a less negative perspective. Why? Because it's called knowledge and empathy that derives from knowledge.
There's a problem to make sure. They said there's a particular thing that we've brainwashed our folks in our country to believe. Hey, Christianity, everything has been great and fine with that throughout history. What it is, it breeds freedom and liberty, because somehow Christianity is like an American thing and everything else is just evil and foreign. So anytime you want to find out what folks in this administration are up to, think about what they're saying about what others are doing. So whenever they say that people are doing this and pushing this on you and brainwashed you, they're brainwashing you in that very same moment. So there was a point about this that they went into. They pointed specifically to a conference on art and film that these two schools were apparently were using to push too much of this positive Islam. So they said the sheer volume of such offerings highlight a fundamental misalignment between universities' goals and those of the federal government. Why does the federal government have a goal for what colleges and universities are teaching, or even the tone that they think they're taking when it comes to certain things like the cultural background of Islam? I don't see how that works.
Because, and I think you've seen this in the courts, in the Supreme Court, in federal courts, nominees. You've seen this throughout this administration. You've seen it in its attitudes towards Israel and Palestine, that this is it's a Christian nationalist government. It's a government that believes in pushing a far right Christian agenda from the highest points of power. And in addition to that, all the anti-choice and homophobic legislation, preventing transgender people from serving in the military, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Potentially the Supreme Court later on, I think this fall, is gonna rule on whether LGBTQ people are protected under the Equal Rights Amendment, right? Like, these are the questions.
This is a conversation we're having now.
These are the conversations that we're having. And so, and just for everyone to recognize, like, this country's 70% Christian, all right? Christianity is not going anywhere. It is fine. It is well protected. There are many different stripes and shades, and of course, this kind of extreme Christianity does not represent all Christianity at all, right? But these kinds of extreme agenda overreaches by this administration just shows you that they are determined to squelch out anyone who isn't basically straight, white, Christian, heteronormative, whatever.
The education department spokesperson also came out and rejecting the idea that, I guess the idea that they're trying to push so much Christianity over Islam. He said it's patently false that the department is reviewing the program as being too positive on Islam. Remember that thought, because what the department also said was there's considerable emphasis on the positive aspects of Islam while not attempting to similarly demonstrate the positive aspects of Judaism and Christianity. That sounds like you're saying there's too much positive influence of Islam, but not enough on the other ones that you prefer. It's a Rudy Giuliani. You say one thing and then say, no, I never said that. I just said it only 5 seconds ago. It's amazing how this works, but they can fool people.
For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.